What a dreadful shame. Poor old
Yeah,
Tottenham. It's happened again.
Yeah, got it for him.
Anyway, it has finished. 2 goals. Rapid Vienna 0, West Ham United 2 in Austria. The 2 goals coming at the end of the first half. Andrei Yarmolenko opening the scoring 5 minutes ahead of halftime. A Niko Vlasic cross, beautifully delivered for Yarmolenko to steer home with his head to give West Ham the lead. Then Mark Noble, his first goal since, in well over a year, as Rio pointed out, from the penalty spot after Yarmolenko again was involved, tripped inside the box after receiving the ball from Noble. Noble stepping up to slam the ball into the top right-hand corner of the net, even though the goalkeeper guessed right, he was not going to get it at all. And that was enough to give West Ham a very, very comfortable, disappointingly comfortable, you might say, 2-0 win in Vienna. It is, of course, enough to send West Ham through to the last 16 of the Europa League, where, well, we don't know who awaits. We're going to have a look at that in a little while anyway. But let's get the group's initial post-match reactions. I shall start with Pinky down there at the Rising Sun in Brentwood. Pinky, West Ham winning 2-0. What did you make of that?
Easy. I mean, you know, that was as close as you get to a bye, really. You know, a nice gentle run out for predominantly our second string. Never looked in any danger of conceding a goal, let alone losing the game tonight. Comfortable 2-0. Should have been more like 4 or 5, really, given the calibre of the opposition. But the manager will look at that and go, we top the group, which is bound to have some sort of benefit on these coefficients about who you draw the next round. No players are injured. He's managed to give a few lads a run out, so the manager will say lots of positives tonight. The disappointment, obviously, for me, no West Ham United supporters in Vienna tonight, because the glamour tile of the round of this round for us is away to Vienna. There were thousands of trips, and because UEFA do not know what they're doing, and are targeting the wrong people yet again. Yep. We had no supporters there. But on the night, you can only beat what's in front of you, and West Ham did that comfortably. Easy win, and so it should be, because Vienna were poor, and we are miles better than they are.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you. No, we'll come to you next. An easy win, says Pinky, and it's hard to disagree with that. How do you assess what you've just seen?
Yeah, comfortable. It's a win to win. They were poor. Never has a club sponsor been so inappropriate. I think Vienna Energy had on their shirts. I can only think that somebody's having a laugh with that, because they were poor. They lacked any idea, really. Yeah, comfortable. You can't really complain about that. I'm just glad that's over. Means we can, of course, put in a load. We can give a load of kids a day out against Zagreb.
Yeah.
In a couple of weeks' time, whenever it is, and yeah, I mean, let's face it. Go back a few months, they come out with the groups, and we think, I think we were seeded 3rd in the group. Mm-hmm. And you look at that and you think, well, Zagreb, they might be a bit useful. Vienna aren't any, they're well known, but apart from the glitch against Genk the other week, where we didn't play well, but we're still unlucky only to get a point. We've just walked away with that group. We've just taken it and said, thanks, that's ours. Yep. Professional performance rather than outstandingly stunning, I think, is probably the way to look at that. Okay. Other games, though, that Celtic game looked interesting. They were 2-1 up.
Yes.
Full time's 3-2 to Bayer Leverkusen.
Oh dear. Well, we'll come to that in just a moment. We'll have a look at those very briefly. Sure. But before we do that, Rio, your thoughts on what you've seen tonight, if you're still awake over there?
Yeah, I'm wide awake. I'm absolutely riveted. I can't really add anything more, really. Professional job. Wasn't a particularly good performance, which is a bit of a worry, Chris, about definitely the second game in a row. I mean, the Genk game as well wasn't particularly good. So there's a few things to worry about. But as the gents have said, professional performance, job done, we're through. Great to see Perkins get a little bit of a run out. I'm a bit confused by the substitutions in general, though. Was there really need to kind of exert Fornals anymore, Ben Ryan anymore? Bit strange, but we're through, and we're through incredibly comfortably. Game to spare. Hopefully, the atmosphere in a couple of weeks' time at London Stadium, it's going to be a dead rubber, but I'm just hoping that there's going to be some kind of spark there to make our pre-Christmas little game a bit more exciting. I don't know if he can chuck in 3 or 4 youngsters, which might spur the crowd on, but I don't see him doing it. I think he'll put out a strong side.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see. Of course, as Rio rightly points out, it is now a dead rubber. West Ham have qualified from Group H of the Europa League, and whatever happens in a couple of weeks' time, we'll end the group as champions of that, which means we are through definitely to the last 16. No playoffs for the Hammers. In just a few moments, we're going to take a look at some of the teams we could play. But Gnome, do you want to take us through what's been happening across the rest of the Europa League tonight? You touched briefly on the Celtic game, which sounded like a cracking match. But what else has happened over there, especially, of course, between Zagreb and Genk?
Yeah, that finished 1-1 at full time. We, as I say, a win was making us qualify, whatever. So that finished 1-1. Yep. So they can battle out between them for who comes up with us. Other results so far: Bayer Leverkusen 3, Celtic 2, as we said earlier on. Galatasaray 4, Marseille 2. Lokomotiv 0, Lazio 3. The team formerly known as Red Star Belgrade 1, Ludogorets 0. Maitland 3, Sporting Braga 2. Real Betis 2, Ferencváros 0. And as we say, Dinamo Zagreb 1, Genk 1. There are a few games that are kicking off in a little while at 8 o'clock. That's Rangers, Sparta Prague. Leicester have got Legia Warsaw. Brøndby play Lyon, and Monaco play Real Sociedad. So that's all the Europa League ones. I won't bother you with the conference. It's in the league type thing, other than say that Tottenham lost to Muro, who I think everybody has beaten. They've been the whipping boys in that group so far, Muro. So I think they could still go through, but it's going to be a bit of a nail biter, I think, in the last games of that one. Not that I care. I just think it's funny Spurs lost.
Who are Muro? I've honestly never heard of them before.
Slovenian, yeah. Slovenian side. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Anyway,
as any fool knows, has just read it off the screen.
So match stats quickly before we move on for you. Possession 39% to Rapid Vienna tonight, 61% to West Ham. Rapid Vienna 13 shots, 3 on target. West Ham 12 shots, only 4 shots in the second half for the Hammers, 7 on target, 4 corners for West Ham, only 1 for Rapid Vienna. It's that kind of night, really. Let's do man of the match. This should be interesting. Rio, do you want to get us off and running? We spoke about it shortly before the end of full time, and there were 2 key candidates for you at that time. Who's which side did you err on at the end of the game?
Yeah, I'm sticking with one of them too, and it's Mr. How can you put it? Mr. Right Foot himself, Andrei Yarmolenko. In a nondescript game.
We are recording this, aren't we? Just for the look on Picky's face. It's a picture.
Of course.
I saw the face drop. But I've got justification in this. Let's put it this way. That game wasn't what you would call a classic. It wasn't particularly entertaining at all. He's popped up with a goal, won a penalty. What more do you want? We're through. If anyone else can find a better man of the match candidate, although Arthur's beard, not Arthur himself, the beard itself, came a very close second. But Andre.
Yarmolenko
for Rio. Gnome, are you going to offer anyone different? Who did you enjoy watching tonight?
Yarmolenko as well.
Oh.
I was tempted to give it a Dawson for yet another accidental injury of an opponent, which was, when it's somebody else, it's really, really funny. You've been on a pitch, I've been on a pitch when it's happened. And, everybody else is coming out with the usual comments about, counting them, not rubbing them and things like that. And it's just so funny when it happens. But no, I think you're right. Yarmolenko did make a few things happen.
Okay.
Yeah, the quality of the opposition wasn't great, but you can only play against what you're playing against, and I'll give it to him. And partly because I think he's worth it, and in a match of few standout performances, and partly just because it was worth it for the look on Pinky's face.
Well, for me, before we come on to Pinky, of course, it was a choice really. I've seen Leonard Brook mention him on the YouTube chat as well. He says it was a toss up between Vlasic and Soufal for him. I thought Vlasic had a decent game tonight. Got involved, would have scored if Ben Rama had squared that ball. He was clean through and probably would have got off the mark. Got the assist, put the ball in for Yarmolenko. Had a decent game before being substituted. It's got to be Yarmolenko though, isn't it? A goal. Won the penalty. Set up Souček for another one, which he should have absolutely scored. So. Pinky, coming to you. Let's have a look. Rio's gone for Andrei Yarmolenko. Gnome's gone for Andrei Yarmolenko, and I've gone for Andrei Yarmolenko. What about you, buddy?
If you three aren't going to take this seriously, I'm not doing this anymore. I mean, seriously. We've all watched the same game. We've all watched the same players. Yeah. And for three of you to select a player who's there's 12 people in my pub better than me. Seriously. And no, I'm sorry. I'm a bit embarrassed just listening to you.
So you're going for Diop then?
In all seriousness, nobody stood out tonight for my money. You could say, well, yeah, your argument is Yarmo did because of the bits he did, he did okay. Okay, but I'm not going to move past his deficiencies in terms of technique and how limited a player he is, because doing the show reel stuff, well, that's fine, but it isn't enough for me, and it never has been. Over the years, we've had dozens of players that do show reel football, and that's why we usually lose. So for my money, I'm going for one or two players that I think put slightly harder yards in tonight. It's going to be either Tommy Souček or Manuel Lanzini, and I'm going to give it to Manuel Lanzini tonight because for my money, he looks like he's returning to form. Yes, he got subbed off, but actually he's a neat and tidy footballer, and he's a better footballer in his sleep than Andrei Yarmolenko will ever be in 100 years. And I'm sorry, but why do we love Declan Rice so much? Left foot, right foot, head. Yeah, makes all the right decisions, plays the game as if he's played it his whole life. Yarmolenko is a lot more senior player, makes wrong decision after wrong decision, is one-footed, and frankly, is a one-trick pony. Take him out now. Just give him to someone. Give him to Tottenham. He'd probably improve the Spurs team. But I'm sorry, he's a player that flatters to deceive. And he may be captain of Ukraine. Well done. Yeah, I'm captain of the Dog and Duck. I don't know where the Ukraine is. Yeah, so I disagree with you. I think you've all called it horribly, horribly wrong. Yeah, and I'm utterly ashamed of all three of you. I really am. I'm appalled.
Pinky, though, don't mess about though. Speak your mind. Tell us what you really think.
Well,
Anyone but Yarmo.
And Roy Keane gets a reputation for speaking his mind, but he's not always wrong, is he? And he's a terrible footballer. I'm sorry, but
come on, he did okay tonight. He done all right.
I thought he had a decent game tonight.
He was all right.
I don't disagree with the general premise that he's one-footed, etc., etc. But tonight, I thought he had a decent game. Simple as.
Yeah.
So,
and we were struggling.
I'm not going to mark him down just because he hasn't had decent games in other nights. And
okay, let me just pose a question to you all then. Okay,
go on.
Which player do you think has moved himself closer to a starting spot on Sunday as a result of their performance tonight?
I haven't seen it.
Diop. Diop. Seriously, I think Diop. We need a left-sided defender. Okay. I think Diop.
So we've got Lanzini and Diop. Rio.
Soufal.
Right. So there you go. So three players Yeah, none of whom are Yarmolenko.
Yeah, but they didn't influence the game as much as Yarmolenko did.
Sorry, lads.
I feel we could be here all night trying to convince Pinky
Well,
of
I've got a pack.
But there you go. Anyway, so 3 of us went for Yarmolenko. Pinky, of course, not going for Yarmolenko, going for Lanzini. Of course, let's be honest, had a decent enough game. But yeah, it was one of those games, wasn't it, gentlemen, when nobody really stood out tonight, and we're all struggling to find anyone who's quite outstanding. Rio, should we have a look at the KUMB.com forum match thread and see what our fellow hammers thought of tonight's game and who they felt was the man of the match? Let's go over to our fellow supporters for a roundup.
There's not really been really shouts out for man of the match so far. Couple of interesting posts though. McCann again tonight has been quite on form. It's a shame there's been no fans there. It looked a really tight, decent ground. Would have been a hell of an atmosphere if it was full. Craig 2609. The slower pace of European football suits Noble to a T. He's been absolutely outstanding. Lincoln Hammer 1963. It's fair to say there'd be more difficult games to come. Rapid Vienna are probably more suited to the competition below. You know the one I mean. The one I think Tottenham qualified for and are failing miserably. SH, I just think it's fair to say we've absolutely dominated this group. And Das Nark has put on about young Perkins. Perkins is going to be a formidable player. His physical presence when he grows into his frame is something to behold. Can't believe he's 17. Hammer in Hornchurch agreed with it. Excellent cameo. The early signs are promising. And Das Nark again he'd been on the pitch for just 10 minutes when he started to point where he went and the ball played to him. I love that, see that kind of confidence and composure at that young age. And Big Fat Sam. Crowd looked incredibly good in those last 25 minutes. I think Ace Face has pretty much summed it up better though than anyone else. Incredibly tedious game for the spectator. Professional performance as a team. Excellent result in terms of the next section of the season. I hope this gets shoved down my throat with venom at some point, but Vlasic isn't likely to get cut it in England.
Ooh.
So I think it's a little bit harsh on Vlasic. I thought he had a decent game tonight. But the rumblings that I think because he hasn't had an outstanding start to his West Ham career, the rumblings are getting bigger and bigger every week. But I thought he was all right tonight.
Yeah, totally agree. A couple of comments from social media. Tony Gotti took to Twitter to say top spot in Group H in qualification for the Europa League. Last 16, Moyes has managed our squad for the competition very well so far. The European tour continues. Irons. And Jimmy Walker also saying top spot in Group H. Jimmy Walker. It's not Jimmy Walker. It's Thomas Soucek, who obviously was finding something interesting to do on the sidelines for the final few minutes because there was nothing else going on, of course. Tweeted just after the final was to say top spot in Group H, qualification for the last 16 in Europe. Well done, lads. And interesting post from Jack Elderton, who is, of course, 1/3 of the new KUMB podcast team. Jack, one of our analytics chaps, doing a great job. If you haven't looked at the new KUMB podcast, have a look at the KUMB.com homepage because the links are there. Says that Carlton Cole was on TV tonight saying that we tried Sonny Perkins at left back, centre back and central midfield before he got to go up top this season due to injuries. Truly remarkable in those circumstances that he's doing such an incredible job. That is almost Machiavelli-esque, isn't it, in some ways, Pinky? I'm coming to you about Perky, of course, again. But fantastic. I mean, I wasn't aware of that. Were you? That he wasn't a natural striker, but he showed his credentials with his first touch tonight, didn't he?
Yeah, it's not that unusual for a young player to play 3 or 4 different positions at this stage. It really isn't, because there's so much still to happen to their bodies. A 17-year-old, he might grow another 6 inches, and suddenly you say, well, and he might fill out a bit too much.
Yeah.
And to have the mobility he might want as a striker, you might say, well, maybe somewhere else on the pitch suits him. But we had the debate in Declan Rice's early days Was he going to be mobile enough for midfield? Well, don't we look stupid asking those questions now? But you know, there was serious debate as to whether he would be a better centre back than he ever would be, you know, a midfield player. A couple of years down the line, I think we've all got the answer to that question. So Perkins could be another one. You know, I'm just pleased that the manager has got an open mind and says, if he can score goals at that level, you know, the younger level, we'll give him a run out, see what he can do. And he showed a great instinct there tonight. He was in the right place at the right time. Didn't quite finish it, but do you know what? You know, getting in the right place at the right time, that's half the battle, isn't it?
Yep.
You know, just knowing where to be. So, you know, if we get 2 players out of the current crop of academy players, that's a good return. So the fact that the manager's had a look at Chester's in an earlier round, he's had a look at Perkins tonight, that bodes well. And hopefully come maybe the FA Cup, we'll start to see some of these players featuring for 60, 70 minutes. They're just 1 or 2 at a time to see what they can do, because you never know. You never know. You've got to give them pitch time to find out.
Yep. And again, just one other aspect of West Ham that's all going so swimmingly well at the moment. The first team doing really well. The reserves, or the under-23s as they call them now, topping their group, Premier League 2 Division 1 as things stand, and Sonny Perkins coming through. So it's all looking good. It's all looking remarkably good. Just interestingly, I don't want to dwell on it, of course, because it's Tottenham, but I've just seen a tweet. Let me see if I can find it, from Sport Bible, that said Tottenham's the team that beat Tottenham tonight, Mura, that was their first Conference League point tonight. They weren't even a club 11 years ago. They're only recently formed a decade ago. And apparently Mura is a town of just 11,000 people, which is about, I don't know, a quarter of Benfleet, I suppose, for those Essex-based fans of you. But anyway, just putting that into perspective. Poor old Tottenham. Poor old Tottenham. XG, one for you, Gnome. XG stats for tonight. Rapid Vienna 0.55 and West Ham 4.21. So West Ham underperforming a little bit in front of goal, according to that. But anyway, yeah, it's a win. It's 3 points, and we're into the last 16, which is all that matters. Which brings me on nicely to who we might be facing in the next round of the competition. Now, of course, the 8 teams that finished third in the Champions League groups go down to the Europa League. And we could potentially face any of these, and you'd have to think, I guess, or expect these teams to progress further in the competition. Just having a quick look through the groups now in the Champions League. Looking at Group A, it looks like Man City and PSG are going to qualify, which means that RB Leipzig or Bruges are going to be one of the teams dropping down. Leipzig, of course, a very, very good Bundesliga side. In Group B, again, it could be either Porto, AC Milan or Atletico Madrid, 2 teams or 3 teams, of course, that I believe have all won the European Cup in years gone by. So that's a pretty daunting task. Group C, it's looking like Dortmund, again, another team that have got really good Champions League pedigree, are going to be dropping down unless they can do something in the last game. Group D, it looks like Sheriff, who of course have already beaten Real Madrid this year. Real Madrid topping the group now, are going to be finishing third in that one. Group E, it could even be Barcelona or Benfica. One of those 2 is going to be dropping into the Europa League. Group F, it looks like it's a battle between Atalanta and Young Boys, almost certainly Atalanta. Didn't Atalanta get to the semi-finals of the competition last year? Last year, the Champions League. So, remarkable, really. And in Group G, Seville, who I think have won the Europa League more than anyone else. Won it 3 or 4 times, didn't they, in recent years? Look like they're going to be dropping out unless they can overturn Salzburg or Lille in Group G. And Group H, Chelsea and Zenit run away in that group, and it's going to be Zenit St. Petersburg. So a lot of decent sides there, chaps, potentially coming down. Is there anyone there, Rio, that you'd like to perhaps visit? I mean, obviously Barcelona and the new camp would be a wonderful weekend out. But anyone else that you particularly fancy or maybe would like to avoid?
I'm just looking at in terms of places I'd like to visit, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like the look of Atletico Madrid's new ground. Love to do that. think Dortmund is an experience every football fan should experience once in their life. Sheriff, because I like a trip to Nottingham, always one of my favourite away days. I'll take anyone on. Luckily, we might not have to play any of these sides because they played the second place group, the second team. They might have played these like down the line a bit further, but I think out of everyone though, a team I would like to play most of all is Atalanta because they play with a bit of a free-flowing style, very attacking. They're very open at the back though, which has been their downfall in the European competitions this season. So I think it's been an incredibly entertaining game. Should we come across them? Two-legged knockout. What a fantastic tie that would be.
Yeah, and again, I think Atalanta is a very small town, isn't it? I think that's 70,000, 80,000 population, something like that, which is not a huge number to call from. Of course, they don't just take people from the town these days, but you know what I mean. No, anyone you fancy from that lot or particularly want to avoid?
No, I'll take whoever we get. If we get a smaller team, then that aren't just lucky to be there, perhaps. Then, well, okay, that makes it easier to progress. If we get a bigger team, well, it's a way of testing us, seeing how far we've come. Yeah, it's just as I said, I said a lot last season. I'm saying again this season. Let's just enjoy the ride. Let's not go all sort of a few good wins and looking at sort of Champions Leagues and things like that. Let's just and it's an old cliche, but it worked for me last season, so I didn't get too carried away. Each game as it comes, and, it does work. I mean, joking apart, not entirely sure you'd want to go at the Sheriff, Rio. It's they kind of play in a disputed territory. They're Moldovan, but they play in this area of Moldova, which is Transnistria, which is kind of almost a de facto state of its own, and it's like a dictatorship. And the guy who owns the club owns that mini sort of country, and Sheriff is the name of his company, and he owns everything there. So
it does sound like Nottingham, though. It still sounds like Nottingham to me.
Well, it owns Nottingham there. But I think I'd avoid that as a place to go more than anything else. But
okay.
But no, just bring it on.
Okay, all right, good stuff. Pinky, I get the feeling that whether we draw Sheriff or Barcelona, you will be out there waving your claret and blue scarf as always. But is there any grounds there that I mentioned that you've not visited before that you'd particularly like to cross off on your checklist?
Actually, what I'm enjoying most of all is the fact that all over Europe tonight there'll be supporters from the likes of Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, sitting there going, "We hope we don't get West Ham United." And that's actually how far we've come. You'll have so-called European superpowers, European Super League wannabes, looking at us in a potential draw, going, "We don't want them." And so I'm kind of enjoying that. I mean, who would I like to get? Zenit, St. Petersburg. I think a trip to Russia would be good. So I don't think there's any chance of supporters misbehaving out there, for being honest. The Russians have a way with dealing with crowd disturbances.
Yes.
The new ground for Atletico, I've done that. It's the soulless bowl on the outskirts of Madrid. Honestly, our supporters, I don't think will have a great time at the ground. I think they'll have a great time in Madrid. Barcelona would be the glamour one, but this has got the Barcelona of 6 or 7 years ago. This is kind of like Arsenal light, if you know what I mean. A long time since they've won anything. So for my money, I'd like to go somewhere a little bit exotic. Like St. Petersburg's beautiful city, but there's no one I particularly fear. I think the one team who I'd want to avoid really is Atletico Madrid. They are the one team who I think have got a proper manager who would take a 1-0 win over 2 legs in the 92nd minute and call it a classic game. His devotion to winning is such that he would take it seriously. But other than that, I'll take any opposition, absolutely anywhere.
Okay. All right, good stuff. Well, just having a quick look at the rest of the Europa League setup at the moment, just to see who also is going to, looks like they're going to win their group. Anyway, in Group A, Lyon are far and away. I think they must have already, they have won the group now. So Lyon are through, and it's a choice between, it could be any one of the 3, Sparta, Rangers or Brøndby, who could be finishing runners up there. Monaco or Real Sociedad to win Group B, with PSV also in with a shout of qualifying in second spot. Group C, it's really, really tight. Napoli, Spartak Moscow and Legia Warsaw all on 7 points each. Leicester City, bottom of Group C as things stand, with 6 points, but still, any 2 of the 4 from that group could qualify. Group D, a little bit more clear cut. Eintracht Frankfurt, 4 points clear. They've won the group, and it's between Olympiacos and Fenerbahce for the second spot in the playoff group. Galatasaray, I believe, have won Group E. Lazio in second place. That one's already sorted. Group F, Cervena Zvezda are leading the group, 1 point ahead of Braga, who lead Midtjylland by another point. So again, 2 of those 3 will qualify for the next stage. Group G, finally, Leverkusen and Real Betis are the 2 who will go through to the last 16 and the qualifying rounds. There's some big teams, and of course West Ham, we've won the group, and it's between Zagreb and Genk for that final spot. You're probably actually on that. Zagreb second currently with 7 points, Genk third with 5. But with Zagreb having to travel to London to face West Ham in the last game, you probably fancy Genk, against Vienna in that last match. But anyway, West Ham are through. That's the most important point tonight. Number of good teams, but it's all going to get very, very exciting next March. I think it's next March, isn't it, when the playoffs are decided and the last 16 recommences. So we have a break anyway. We can concentrate on the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup between now and then. Looking ahead, this weekend, pretty big game, actually, in terms of the Premier League. You could cheekily possibly call it a title decider in so, not a decider, but a 2 teams
sure
up there in for the title.
Let's take a look at
West
what else
Ham
happened in the
fourth at the
Europa
moment.
League tonight. This is how Group D fixtures ended
Is that
up.
me?
No,
Is
it's
that
me.
Oh, it's Okay. David
Sorry,
Moyes is on the telly. Gnome's going to come back with
Mr.
Moyes. Well, we'll come back to that in a second. But Pinky, you're going to be in Manchester this weekend. Are you planning to go up there?
Funnily enough, yes, I shall be there on my way to Glasgow. So, I'll be there, and I'm looking forward to it, because actually, for the first time in a good while, we can go up there expecting to compete. I think the manager signalled who his really key players are by the players he's left out tonight. Antonio staying at home, Rice not getting any time tonight. So you can start to impress well, obviously. They're the 3 players that are dead cert to start on Sunday. Man City, they're a good football team. And let's not kid ourselves. Phil Foden would get in any team in the world. He is a wonderful player, and it's not often that I sing the praises of the opposition, but someone like Foden, I think, is just a supreme footballer at the minute at the top of his game. So to get anything from a game on Sunday, we're going to need to be very, very good indeed. It's the classic game where you say, I'll take a point right now. And that might sound defeatist, but not many teams will go to the City of Manchester stadium this year and get a point. So if you could go there and get a point, that kind of keeps you in that upper echelon. I'm looking at the teams nipping at our heels at the minute. I think, thankfully, Arsenal had a bit of a return to their true sort of capabilities when they played Liverpool last week. Manchester United, all sorts of bother. But if we can just get through the games against Man City and Chelsea without getting a hiding eye, I think we're in for a very good season indeed. So I'll take a point on Sunday. I think it'll be hard work. I don't think they're going to look at us as easy beats, that's for sure. And that's really encouraging for me.
Yeah, I mean, Man City aren't infallible, are they, at home this season? I mean, you know, there's 6 games, 4 wins, just the Premier League alone, 4 wins, a draw, and a defeat. I mean, yes, they've scored 15 goals and only conceded 2, but you know, they've only won, say, 66% of their home games. So there's a possibility there. Rio, what do you make of this weekend's trip to Manchester? You know, it's never been a happy hunting ground for us. We had that decent result under Slaven Bilic, didn't we? 5 years, 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. Yeah. But what do you make of that Man City side now? I mean, obviously West Ham are a different proposition, but you know, Man City are the team to beat, aren't they? Beat Paris Saint-Germain, didn't they, last night as well?
Yeah, they've set the benchmark for Premiership football over the last 5 or 6 years. Obviously fueled by money, but I'm taking a lot of hope from the way that we performed there last season. We went up. I thought it was very unlucky to lose. I think it was 2-1 in the end. But we gave them an absolute game, and that was with a lesser squad. We've augmented, we've improved the way we play. So I'm taking a lot of hope from that. And as you said, they're not completely dominant as they used to be. They're still lacking that cutting edge up front. They're still susceptible at the back at times. You know, of course they play fantastic football, but given the money they spent, they're entitled to. You know.
Yeah,
but they're beatable, and we can go up there and do a job. We haven't put in a decent performance, 90-minute performance for a few games now, and I think that will change. And I think that will change pretty soon. And why can't it be Sunday? Why can't we go up there, give them a game, come away with at least a point? I know it sounds probably over-optimistic, but I've got belief in this side now. I don't fear anybody anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and also the good thing is, even if West Ham are beaten this weekend at Man City, we still remain 4th in the table, unless, you know, we go down by a considerable amount. And I think the goal difference between us and Arsenal is something like 13 goals. So looks like we're still going to be in the top. So in a sense, it's a bit of a free run, isn't it? In you know, I guess
in essence, yeah. Respects. But I mean, like I said, we went up there last season. We played incredibly well. Unlucky not to come away with at least a point. Yeah. They've got their deficiencies. You know, I think De Bruyne has to wait with them because he got COVID. So the man that really makes them tick, he's gone. Obviously, a lot of their players. I mean, they've got some fantastic players: Bernardo, Foden. But what they're lacking is a world-class striker. Mm-hmm. And you know, if we can take advantage of that a little bit. You know, anything's possible with this West Ham side. I thought we'd lose at home Liverpool. I thought, you know, maybe it's a step too far, too soon.
Yep.
But it confounded the critics. Why can't we do it again?
Yeah, there you go. Good stuff. Of course, they owe us one, don't they? After the Carabao Cup defeat, West Ham knocking them out and ending their run of, was it 5 years in a row of winning the competition? But Gnome, you've been listening to David Moyes. Giving his verdict on the game on BT Sports. What did he have to say?
Much as expected. Yeah, very happy with the result. Thought it was well deserved. We deserved to win. We deserved to be, excuse me, ahead well before we actually scored. He did wonder if it was ever going to come, and then we got the 2 quick-fire goals. So, and he said it says a lot for the team that, you know, we've come away, we've won 2-0 away in Europe, and we're looking critically at the performance.
Yes.
So there's that. But he said the good thing is that we can now forget about Europe, really. He said we got Zagreb, which is a game I want to win. We got them at home, but we won't have 2 games in February, so we can, once that's out of the way, we can forget about Europe until March. And that'll give us a bit of a help with the sort of post-Christmas fixture congestion. So very, very pleased. He had a word for Sonny Perkins, and this says a lot. He said he thought the lad did exceptionally well when he came on, but he did say, he said, I put my arm around him and I said, you get these opportunities quite rarely at the moment. You need to think about a little bit more taking them. So even then, it's like that. A kid makes his debut. Even then, he's trying to sort of give guidance and and constructive guidance and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, on the whole, very, very pleased and happy with that. While I was sort of off listening to that, you were obviously talking about the various teams that are in the other groups.
Yes, we were.
And Leicester have gone 1-0 up, going from the bottom of the group to the top in one fell swoop. I don't know if you caught up with that. So
and Patson Dakar scored again and another goal. Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's as I say, it's so that's an interesting thing. Legia Warsaw are the team they're playing, so I think they were mentioned as one of the teams who could potentially win the group or go second.
Yes.
That ultimately,
3 teams on 7.
Yeah.
Leicester on 6 before the game started. Man City, no. Let me come to you on that one. Are you going to be at the game this weekend?
I'm not. I'm going to be watching it from, if all goes well, a place called Smithfield Bar somewhere in Times Square in New York.
Very nice.
So at breakfast on Sunday.
Lovely.
That's where I'm
Nice
having my
burrito.
breakfast. Yeah, it might be an Irish breakfast. I'm travelling on my Irish passport this time round, so
burrito.
I might have a full Irish, but yeah, you know, Rio mentioned last season, and obviously the League Cup this season. The last 3 or 4 times we've played them, we've got the odd draw here and there, and as Rio pointed out, even when we lost, we gave them a game. And Pep Guardiola has said after the League Cup game, when he was when he did everything that Jurgen Klopp didn't, and praised us for the display, and he said we knew they'd be a tough team. You know, we had hard games against them last, and they're a team that we can actually play against.
Yeah,
and I think it's one that those players ought to be looking forward to.
Okay,
because you know it's you know, it's only a couple of years ago that every time we played them, it was 5-0.
Yeah,
and you know now it's sort of like, well, yeah, we deserve that League Cup win. You know, that wasn't a fluke. That wasn't. You know, we had chances in there, and probably the better chances in the game. Yeah, they had a lot of possession. They always do. You know, it's just the way they play. But no, that's a game I'm quite looking forward to seeing, albeit on the box, and with some sausage and eggs in front of me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I think I'm not going to go all sort of unrealistic and say we're going to win up there and slaughter them or whatever. But you know, a win's not out of the question. But I think that I've got every confidence we'll come away with a draw at least.
Wow. Okay.
And
Good stuff.
That's just because, you know, we go into games. We're not going up there with the attitude, oh God, it's Man City, let's keep this down now. We're going in. We're going in with we know we can give them a game, and it's that confidence, that aura. I mean, Liverpool. We didn't go into Liverpool the other week thinking we were going to lose, and the transformation from last season when we went up there and we played well, but we didn't quite have that. Didn't have that belief we could get something up there. And at the end of the day, Rob Fabianski didn't have the greatest of games, and we didn't. But we did play well for a lot of that game, and it was only, you know, it was suddenly a step too far, and that's something that's clearly been worked on. Just to say that Leicester have just gone 2-0 up.
Well, there you go.
Good goal as well there by Maddison.
Let me just ask Rio. I mean, Gnome's mentioned that the fact that we don't, you know, we're not fazed by going to these grounds anymore, Rio. Is that perhaps David Moyes' biggest achievement, in that he's turned West Ham from a team that's perennially, you know, looking to just keep the score down at grounds like this to actually making us, you know, a challenger and giving us a hope in these matches now?
It's one of his biggest achievements here.
Yeah,
I still think we went into a lot of games last season against the so-called Big 4 or 5 with a kind of negative attitude. We did it twice against Liverpool last season, which was very disappointing. But the attitude we showed against Liverpool this season, the attitude we showed in the Cup game against City, was a world away from what we produced last season for most of those games. The fear factor's gone. and it's filtering down through the support. We're going to go up when we play this opposition. As Gnome said, it's not like the fact we're going to go, oh, how many are we going to lose today? It's going to be the 4-0 again. Is it going to be 5-0 again? We're going in there with belief. And belief filters through from the players into the supporters, which in turn generates an atmosphere, which makes it a little bit more raucous, a bit more intimidating for the opposition. It's a snowball effect, and it's great to see at the moment.
Yeah. Pinky, go along with that. I mean, you're of all of us, you're the one who's most regularly at away grounds. Is that palpable now? Or do you get that sense as an away fan going into every game that yes, we have got a chance here, regardless of the opposition?
Absolutely. And in the days when City were putting 5 past us every time we played, I recall a game up at Manchester. We were just getting out the guard, and as they're reading out the team sheets, and we all just looked at each other and said, well, should we go home now? And we went along to the game, and all the press, first half, were all behind our goal, the photographers. Second half, they just swapped ends and went behind our goal at the other end. Not a single photographer stayed and actually thought West Ham had a chance to get a goal.
Yeah.
And we've gone from that kind of submission to competing. I actually think it is David Moyes' biggest achievement, which is changing the mindset of the players from, it's City, so let's not bother because we're going to get humped anyway. To no, I'm not accepting that. I'm not accepting defeat before we start, because you can score from set piece, you can actually run around, you can compete for every ball, you can make it difficult for them. So if you go on a pitch and you think you're going to get thrashed, you will do. If you go on a pitch and think you can compete, you will compete. And I think Moyes has done that brilliantly. I think along with that, you've got to do the physical things. He's got energy in the parts of the pitch where he really need it, and he's transformed the squad in that sense. He's got experience where you need it. Yeah, so he's done sensible management decisions. The bloke's done a fantastic job for West Ham United. He really has. And for my money, you go to City on Sunday. They're a terrific team. Let's not muck around here. They have got talent all over the field. So have we. Because I'm reading press reports every week by any one of 4 or 5 different clubs want Declan Rice. Yeah, they all want it. I read press reports saying, well, actually, Zuma's a good defender. I read press reports telling me that actually Johnson's settling in well as a defender. Souček is a sought-after player. Antonio, who's actually winding up Gareth Southgate magnificently by going to play for Jamaica. So we've actually got some players ourselves.
Yes.
And I think it's not going to be easy on Sunday, but I don't think we should just roll over and have our bellies to. I think get in there, make a challenge, fight for the ball, show what we can do. Because we've got goals in us. We've got goals in us.
Okay. In terms of stopping goals, talking about the other end of the field, just very quickly, I'd like to ask all 3 of you who would be your preferred centre-back pairing for Sunday. I'll start with you, Gnome. Obviously, the 3 main candidates are Zouma, Dawson, and Diop. Who would you go with?
I think we've got to go for the 2 better footballers, which at the moment I think is Dawson and Zouma. I appreciate that you've got the which side sort of thing. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure though that they couldn't both play on their norm. You couldn't swap them over from where they were on Saturday.
So what, play Dawson on the left rather than Zouma?
Yeah, I don't. Okay. I'm sure Dawson can do that, but whether or not that's the situation. Sorry, just slightly distracted because Ledger also pulled one back from a penalty which was saved and the rebound put in. But yeah, I'd probably go with that. I'd still Dawson and Zouma are by far the best 2 central defenders we've got on the books at the moment. What I would say is I've just been my phone is flashing at me that the battery's not long for this world. And
Okay.
and also I have a
All right.
million.
Well,
of
we
other
are
things
about to wrap
do.
up anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna crack on soon. But I thought this was an interesting one because we mentioned it, and there seems to be a little bit of disagreement in the ranks over who we'd start with. Pinky, who would you go with Sunday?
Zuma and Dawson. I've seen people put the theory forward and stick Declan Rice back there. Yeah. Which I wouldn't discount. I'll go on to Issa Diop, but I'm not a fan, and you all know that. Against Manchester City, I think they'd pass the ball around his feet because they would draw him out. Yeah, they would draw him out. They're clever enough players, and actually they just give the teasing pass close enough where he thinks he can step out the back line and make an interception. Yeah, but just an inch too far for him to actually do it. And they will see that in his game. And if you play with Diop, I guarantee you he will step out the back line and you'll have somebody like, I don't know, Bernardo Silva running behind, gather the ball, and score a goal. Diop is not the man to play against Manchester City, that much myself.
Okay, all right, good stuff. Rio, finally, what do you make of that? Would you go along with Gnome and Pinky?
I completely agree with what Pinky just said about Diop getting sucked in the different positions where he don't want to be.
Yeah.
I also think Craig Dawson's got that in him. I'd actually be inclined to go with Zuma and Diop because they're natural sided players. And I just think they're better suited as a partnership. I just think Craig Dawson's always got that mistake in him as well.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with you, Rio. I think, given what happened, it'll be interesting to see. I'm not entirely sure. I hear what Pinky's saying. Not entirely sure Sunday's the game to throw Diop in and see if he's ready to take on that role against it. In terms of the opposition, it's the toughest possible game you could do that with. But I think on the balance, and I'll make you right about Dawson. I think we've seen that before. He's definitely can be shown up at that level. At the very, very highest level. Fantastic performer, but. The point is, I think whichever way you do it, depending, there's a case, isn't there, for both to play Dawson or Diop. So it'll be interesting to see. I get the feeling. I think Moyes will stick with Dawson and Zuma. I think he might also change them over as well. But we'll see. It's a good debate anyway. Interesting one. And of course, I guess we're fortunate in that we don't have to make that decision. On Sunday, and good luck to Moyes and whoever he picks. But anyway, as you will see, Noma's already left. His phone has obviously died and run out. But that is just about it from the rest of us. It didn't quite make the end, but there you go. It's been a good night overall for West Ham, winning 2-0 on the road in Austria, qualifying for the last 16, winning Group H with at a canter. Really, let's be honest, chaps. 4 wins and a draw. It's been. Has it been beyond our wildest dreams? Did we expect it to be this easy? Chaps, Pinky?
No. I mean, because again, the format of the competition, you don't know what you're going to play against till you're actually watching them. And it's clear to me that Genk, Zagreb and Vienna, they have a kind of a similar level, but they're nowhere near the level of, say, a Porto, an Atletico, even an Eintracht Frankfurt. So this round has just been one to get through, make sure you qualify. Believe you me, whoever we play in March, it will be a quantum leap in terms of calibre, and we need to be prepared for that. The next team we play in this competition will be decent. Far better than what we're saying, and that's really for me where the competition starts.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. For the record, I believe West Ham have already earned about £7 million from our Europa League exploits so far this season. What with winning the games and qualifying for the next round, so every little bit helps, as they say. Rio, are we sort of? It's been an easy group, and we're obviously delighted to get through with a game to spare. But as Pinky says, could that be a problem for us in the sense that the next team we play are going to be that much better than the fare that's been put up for us so far?
I think the biggest problem for us in the next round, because it's not till March, will be fatigue setting in. I think what we've encountered so far is indicative how far advanced English football is against most of Europe. at this stage of the season, especially when the fitness levels are a lot higher. Was it last year? Was it both two English clubs in Europe, the Champions League final? Manchester United got through the Europa League final.
Yep.
You know, the year before that, again, I think there's two English clubs in the Champions League final. No, possibly the year before that. Sorry. No, over the last 3 years, English football is dominating European competitions again. Mm. And I just think what we've seen is the fact that go belong to the elite level clubs in Europe, and there's not a lot there to be worried about.
Yeah,
this is a team that hasn't got experience of European competition properly for. Let's discount the previous two encounters because we didn't make it out of the qualifying rounds.
Yeah,
we're not used to European tournament football in this ilk, and yet we made it look so incredibly easy. It is beyond our wildest dreams. Who would have thought we'd have 13 points out of 5 games?
Yeah,
I think.
I guess we were slightly lucky, weren't we, in terms of the way that the balls came out. We got a relatively easy group as well. We missed some of the bigger teams, but it certainly has been a bit of a stroll in the park, really. I mean, I do wonder sometimes if we hadn't have performed, because that first game in Zagreb, we were brilliant that night. We played really well, and that was viewed as our toughest game. And had that not turned out that way, it could have been a lot more difficult. But I think we really set our stall out, didn't we? And Pinky, you of course were there that night. We played brilliant. Declan Rice really was outstanding that night, to name but one. But certainly set a trend for the rest of the group. And here we are anyway, celebrating with a game to spare. But anyway, that is about it from us tonight. My thanks to my fellow panelists, to Rio, to the Pink Palermo, coming live from the rising sun there down in Brentwood. Are you staying there, Pinky, or are you off home now? Is that it for the night?
I might be here for another 2 or 3 hours.
Well, listen, have a lovely time. Enjoy yourself, and well done to everyone there. And I hope you all enjoyed it. And also, thank you to Gnome, who got cut off a few minutes ago, just before the end. There will be no eyes up. Mother Brown. Leicester have just scored another one, by the way. They're 3-1 up against Warsaw. There will be no eyes up Mother Brown this weekend, unfortunately, from Manchester City. We will be back, though, for next Wednesday's game, or I will be. I'm not sure either of these guys will be, because they'll be at the game. West Ham against Brighton. Can we finally beat Brighton? It's been a while. But you never know. Rio's not confident, but we'll see. Anyway, next week. That's it. Thank you to everyone for joining us on the live stream. As always, it's been great having you here. It's finished. Rapid Vienna 0, West Ham United 2. The Hammers through at the last 16. Been a great night. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll see you all again very soon. Come on, you irons.
Right, so we're here in the offices of a Late Late Show with the host of a Late Late Show, James Corden.
Hi.
Big West Ham fan.
Yes. And big knees up Mother Brown, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm regularly on the general discussion page. There's always someone who's got some information, so I love it. Yeah. It's great. Yes, it's excitement surrounded by imminent disappointment. That's what it mostly is.
Get on the forum at kumb.com. Come on, you irons.